Hello everybody, hope you all are doing good out there. You might be hearing a lot of animal noises around us here because I'm out here in the garden. We've got all kinds of chickens and birds and insects making all kinds of noises. So it's a pretty day out here, so I thought we'd switch it up a little bit and do this comparison out here in the garden. In this video we are going to be comparing two knives. We're going to be comparing the Case medium jackknife and we're going to be comparing the Case peanut. We're going to, of course, compare the size of these two knives, the price, the availability, and the function of these two knives. And if somebody's on the fence about which one to get, maybe this video can help them figure out which one would be best suited for their needs. The other thing to keep in mind when we are comparing these two knives is that these knives look very similar, on the internet at least. If you just look at a picture of them, they look almost identical. So it can be hard to tell by a picture which is which. But you're going to see when we put them side by side that there is quite a bit of difference. Before we compare them, both sides right together, first thing I want to do is deal a little bit with each pattern. We'll begin with the medium jackknife, which is the 087 pattern from Case. This right here is the medium jackknife. But what you're going to find is that there are three main versions of it out there that you will run across. There is a Stockman version, a penknife version, and there's also the regular jackknife version. So there's these three different versions to keep in mind. Like we said, all these are 087 patterns. This one on the left is going to be the common Stockman. Now, most Stockmans are going to have three blades, as you can see this one does. These are going to have two back springs, of course brass liners, but it's going to have three blades. You're going to have a clip blade. Your secondary blade is going to be a spay blade, and then your third blade is going to be this little pin blade. So you're getting three blades on the Stockman version of the knife with no liner. This one is going to be known usually as the 63087. The first number can change depending on the handle material, but if the knife you're looking at, if the second number is a 3, if it's a 6-3 instead of a 6-2, or a 2-3 instead of a 2-2, if that second number is a 3, it is the Stockman version of it. Also, keep in mind, if you're looking for one of these jackknives, is keep an eye out for the pen knife version of it. This one is a lot more rare, and you don't see too many of these, but they are out there, and they have the same number as the one we're going to be looking at today, the pen knife version, the medium jack. Now, there's going to be a few differences. First off, this being a pen knife, it's going to have two blades, but there's going to be a blade on each end, and there will not be any liner going down between the blades. That is going to separate this from this jackknife we're looking at today. You can see this jackknife on the right has a pin blade and a clip blade also, but they're divided by a liner and both blades open on the same end. That's what makes it a jackknife. Also, if we compare the springs, you can see that the one on the right has a spring going down the middle, has a liner between the two springs, where the one on the left does not. That means that the penknife version is going to be a little thinner in the pocket. Let's compare these blades really quickly, just so you can see they're very similar. They have a different finish on them, but that's common among models. We'll talk about that here later on, probably. But you can see they've got the same style clip blade, and then they're both going to have a secondary pin blade. But you're going to notice that the secondary pin blade is a little bit different. You get a bigger pin blade on the jackknife. You can see it's a lot thicker too. We'll talk about that also in a minute. But for the moment, let us note that those are the main differences between these different versions of the 087 pattern from Case out there. These are the main differences between them. It's just the number of blades and the orientation of the blades. They all have the exact same handle. Now for the peanuts. The peanut is much more popular than the 087 pattern from Case. These are known as the 20 pattern from Case. You'll see a lot of peanuts. Almost any hardware store, even if they just have a few Case knives, is going to have at least one pattern or one form of the peanut. It's very popular, and that's with good reason. The peanut does come in a few different forms. You can find some with a pair of scissors for the secondary blade. You can find some single-bladed peanuts. You can find some with a trap or spade blade called the, I think it's called the trapper nut. Nevertheless, you can find different versions of the peanut, but by far the most popular is this style of peanut we have right here, where you have a main clip point blade and a secondary pin blade. And these are the most common by leagues and bounds. You don't see many of them other versions. But the peanut, as you can see, just like the jackknife, has your main clip point blade, has two back springs with a liner down the middle, and its secondary blade is going to be a little pin blade. Now you can get this in different handle materials. Just for this video, I grabbed my yellow Delrin Case peanut with a carbon steel blade. Has a different blade steel in it. But this is the peanut. So now since we've covered these two patterns in some detail, let's dig right into the comparison between the two. Now, when we're comparing these two knives, the first thing we need to consider is the price. The peanut ranges anywhere from about $40. You can get this yellow synthetic one for $40. You can also get the brown jig Delrin one for around $40 if you're lucky. They range anywhere from $40 on up into the hundreds if you're getting an abalone, stag, or a mother of pearl version. So they have a wide range, but for this video it's important to note you can get one for about $40 if you're looking for a good user. The 087 pattern, you can get it for around $52. Here in the last month or so, I saw a dealer had some for $47. But that's kind of uncommon. You know, anywhere from $50 to $60, you can pick up one of these with no problem at all. But suffice it to say that the medium jack is a little more expensive than the peanut for the same knife. You know, if you're getting the exact same knife, same handle, same blade material, you're going to be paying $5 to $10 more for the medium jack. Now, as for availability, the peanut is a lot more available than the medium jack. It's a lot easier to find a peanut. And on top of that, the variety of the peanut is way out there. These medium jacks do not have a lot of variation in handle material or blade steel. I've never seen a new medium jack with a carbon steel blade. I'm sure they probably make them, but they're pretty rare. You don't see them very often if they do. The peanut, on the other hand, they come out with all kinds of different editions. This one right here is in the Caribbean Blue Bone. It's got a saw cut pattern on it. You can see it better here on the pile side. But it's got the mirror polished stainless blades, and you can see it's a dressy knife. And a lot of the peanuts are fancier like this. Where, for some reason, and I do not know why, the 087 jackknife, the medium jack, for some reason, has traditionally had this black synthetic smooth handle on it. Now, I like this handle. It's kind of classy and it's nice. It's a good work handle. But for some reason, this has been the classic handle. And you don't see as many pretty bones and stuff like that on this medium jackknife. It's marketed more as just an everyday user knife, an everyday carry knife. And so that is one difference. If you're looking to get a really shiny and pretty knife, you're probably going to be better off doing the peanut. On the other hand, if you're looking for a knife that really is going to be a great workhorse, the medium jack might be the knife for you. But as for availability and variety, the peanut wins hands down. Also, I think it wins a little bit on price. Next, let's compare the size and the weight of these two knives here. Okay. First up is the medium jack, 1.75 ounces, which is light for a knife of its size. 1.75 ounces. Peanut is 1.25 ounces. So what is that, 0.50 ounces lighter? And I will tell you that neither one of these knives is heavy in the pocket, and I do not think you should make a decision on one knife over the other based on weight, because when you have them in your pocket and when you feel them, there isn't a big enough difference. There's not a big enough felt difference, I guess I should say, to make me decide one over the other. Next, let's consider the size of these, the handle lengths here. Get my measurer here and we'll measure them. The Peanut is a smaller knife. It's probably the most popular small knife you're going to find. It's 2 3/4 inches from bolster to bolster. The Jackknife, on the other hand, as you can see, it comes in right at 3 1/4. So you can see it's just a little bit longer knife. Now, one thing I brought up earlier in the video that I think we need to address right now is how similar these two patterns look shape-wise. If you're just looking at a picture, it can be hard to tell which one is which, especially if it's an older Peanut. The Peanut had a change with the nail nick changed its position. The nail nick is in the center now. Back in the before the 1990s, it was on closer up toward the pivot, similar to how this jackknife looks. And if it's one of them older Peanuts and you're just looking at a picture, it is very, very difficult to tell if it's a Peanut or a jackknife. They look very similar. They both have what's known as a serpentine shape. So we needed to address that. Again, you get in the same basic setup in the back. You got a liner down the middle and on either side of the springs, 2 back springs, 3 pins to hold the handle on, nickel silver bolsters on each side. You're getting 2 blades down the middle, a clip blade on your right, and a pin blade on your left. So let's open up these blades and let's take a close look at these. Now, we have a different finish on these blades. That's one thing we need to address. As we said before, the Peanut comes in some fancier versions, and this is a fancier version. This yellow synthetic would be more of a comparable version, but it's a different blade steel. But suffice it to say that this is a mirror polished finish from Case. This is an as-ground satin finish from Case, and this is a carbon steel that has patinaed over time. Also, we can note the difference in handle materials. We got bone and synthetics. So don't really take them into account into this video, except for the fact that the black synthetic is most common on the jackknife, and if you have one, it's probably, if it's a new one, it's probably going to have this black synthetic handle. But as for the clip point blades, their shape is pretty much the same cutting edge wise, but you're going to notice that the Peanut blade is a little more extreme looking, but you're getting a little more length on the jackknife's blade. Also, the jackknife's blade is a lot thicker. Now, if you're going to pick one of these or the other over the main blade, I would let the thickness be your main decision and not the length, because the Peanut's blade is almost as long, and honestly, it does everything you're really going to need it to from my experience. But these are how the two blades compare to each other. Next is going to be the secondary blades, the little pin blades. Now, I love a pin blade on a knife like this. I will usually sharpen my main blade up a lot sharper, and I'll leave my pin blade with a little coarser grind for other tasks I might need to do. So here you can see there's a larger difference here. The pin blade on the jackknife on the right is a lot larger, and it's a whole lot beefier and thicker. So if you're looking for a tougher knife that you're really wanting to use, this jackknife is probably a great option for you. Here you can see how they compare. Now, another thing that we need to address is what's known as a half stop. For those of you who aren't familiar with traditional pocket knives, when you open up the blade, some of the blades are smooth action all the way from closed to open. Other ones have a click halfway through, like that, where they snap into position at a 90 position. That's known as a half stop. Now, the Peanut has a half stop. The medium jackknife does not have a half stop. If you prefer one over the other, that might help you make a decision. I like both, and I do not really prefer one over the other. Honestly, I kind of like the variety of having both. Now, as for ergonomics, both of these, in my opinion, are very ergonomic in the hand. I wear a large glove, and you can see there, Peanut fits my hand well. I can't get my whole pinky on there, but I don't need to. It's comfortable how it is. The jackknife, on the other hand, you can see it's just larger in the hand, and I can get my full hand on it. There you can see there's quite a bit of a size difference between these two knives. Another thing to note is that the main blade on the Peanut cants slightly downward, where the main blade on the jackknife may do it just a little bit, but not near as much as the Peanut does. So when it comes down to it, which one should you get? Well, if you're a knife person, I would keep an eye out for both and get both of them. But if you're just looking for a good knife to carry, there's a few questions I would ask myself. I would ask myself, first off, am I looking for a smaller, lighter knife, in which case get the Peanut? Am I looking for fancier handles, like mother of pearl or fancy jigged bone? Get the Peanut. Am I looking for a fancier blade finish or carbon steel? Get the Peanut. Am I looking for half stops? Get the Peanut. If I'm looking for a lot of people who also enjoy the same knife, get the Peanut. There's a big Peanut community out there. On the other hand, if I'm looking for a simple pocket dropper, a knife that's going to do what I need it to, that's lightweight, that's comfortable in the pocket because of the serpentine shape, and that just is no frills, just simple and practical, the 087 pattern is going to be a great work knife. As we showed, it's got the thicker blades on it, and that thick blade stock is going to hold up well. It's comfortable in the hand. It looks good. It's got these as-ground blades, which won't show scratches as much. It's a great option. To put it into perspective, these two families, this one I think is best represented out of the Sodbuster family, where the case puts their black synthetic with an as-ground stainless blade. And both of these are just beautiful, beautiful knives. Look at them. I mean, they're so simple. The simplicity of them is part of what makes them so great, in my opinion. But these two are beautiful knives. But this is the one family, the black synthetic family with the as-ground stainless steel blades. And this other family, this yellow family with the carbon steel blades, we might represent with this 18 pattern Stockman and this little Peanut here. So y'all comment down below how you feel about these. Do you like one a lot better than the other? Which one do you prefer? Do you have both? I bought that Peanut new back in 2021, and I've used it a lot. I think it was $41. I bought this jackknife used in rough condition and did a restoration on it here not too long ago, and I got it for $25 out the door used. So they can both be had for a somewhat affordable price. If you can't afford them immediately, you can save up for a few weeks. Y'all comment down below how you feel about these knives. Y'all have a good day, keep your knives sharp, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.